We are officially reading Shelley, chapter 11. I hope y'all tuned in yesterday. If you didn't, just know I'm going to be reading one chapter every day this week because we're going to finish this book soon. And thank you for your support. If you want to keep reading the chapters all the way to the end of the book, subscribe. And of course, if you end up liking the video, then you should like the video. Chapter 11, A New Idea. After reading her sister's text, Shelly rubbed her burning eyes. Bed. She could go back to bed and sleep, if only for a few more minutes. The phone rang. Savannah? She said, answering the phone. Hey, Shelly, I know it's early, but you get to talk? Talk. Her sister didn't talk. She texted, if anything. It seemed like a dream, but Shelly knew she was awake because dreams weren't existent when she slept. Only nightmares. I've been thinking about Mom lately, since she called me and I hung up on her, Savannah said, her voice groggy, but gaining back its usual peppiness with each word. I've been avoiding things, and believe it or not, I'm starting to feel a little guilty. So, I can't shake it, and now you're having problems with her too. I thought maybe I could come hang out with you for the weekend. Help you sort out the mom stuff, so you don't have to be alone. Dropping her head onto their lumpy brown couch, Shelly stopped to breathe. In the ceiling plaster, she saw nothing. Anytime she tried to see an image, she remembered she had to respond. Exhausted, Shelly sighed. Sure, text me later. I need to go back to sleep. Text you later. Another person in her life to worry about, but how could she deny her sister a visit? Besides, maybe it would help. The mirror outlined the unflattering details of Shelly's face. 3 microscopic lines on her forehead that would increase in permanence. Deeper smile lines around her mouth. A face more pallid than usual, and as alluring as if she embodied illness itself. Shelly skipped to each perceived flaw. Freckles and odd spots, zits and mini spots, as she thought about what her Friday entailed. What would happen when her sister visited her for the first time? Well, almost the first time. Savannah had stopped by for gas money once, when she lost her wallet at a festival near Provo. John had questioned why her friends didn't pay for the gas instead, especially since paying for Savannah's gas meant buying less grocery items that week. Shelly hadn't questioned it, though. She knew the type of friends her sister attached herself to. Savannah had a record as a people-pleasing partier. The people she grouped together with liked to party and be pleased. If Savannah's friends had been anything like the ones Shelly had met in the past, they would have sooner left her than paid for gas. This weekend, Savannah wouldn't stop by for a few minutes and then leave. She would stay. She had even asked if Shelly had plans, and as Shelly never had plans on the weekend, Savannah had the leeway to drive up early Friday morning. If she had left at 7 a.m., as she said she would, her sister would arrive soon, in time for brunch. If she had slept in and left later, as Shelly suspected she would, her arrival time would be unpredictable. Brunch with her sister should start in under an hour. Maybe I should put on makeup while I wait, Shelly thought. Although she kept it simple, mascara, blush, and tinted chapstick, this glam process consumed half an hour. Shelly would apply and smudge the mascara, grab a tissue, try to wipe it off, smear it, wipe off all her makeup, and then reapply everything. Eventually, she decided to put the mascara on first, and once she had it on her lashes and nothing else, she proceeded to put on the blush and chapstick. One couldn't expect much more from this from someone who had little experience in using beauty products. Shelly had only thought about makeup when her mom hired someone to do it for her before homecoming and prom, or when her mom insisted upon wearing it during her church talks. If it weren't for the latter, she wouldn't know how to use it, and she wouldn't own it. Even when Shelly and John started dating, she never put on a face for a night out or a special occasion. John said he didn't mind, but the plain face in her engagement photos had led to a large divide with her mom for a time. Since then, she had one reason to wear makeup, an occasion, a pressure. Seeing her family. She might not keep it on for the entire time that Savannah stayed, but the first look mattered most. As Shelly swiped a Q-tip under her eye, the doorbell rang. She turned over her phone and checked the time. 10:04 a.m. Savannah? The door bolt unlocked with ease under Shelly's practiced hand, but she hesitated. Pressing her eye against the peephole, Shelly forgot the unwiped smudges that blurred the vision to the outside. Bam! Shelly? Savannah called out, already fully entered into the apartment. Shelly rubbed her forehead with one hand and raised the other. Right here, she muttered weakly. Her eyes opened after a few seconds, but Shelly could not say anything. Her sister's blonde hair was more blonde, more white. Savannah had highlighted her hair in large portions throughout high school, but Shelly didn't expect the lightest thing in her apartment to be on her sister's head. The only thing that could distract her from the hair was the examination of her sister's tan. Did it come from the sun, a can, or a bed? Shelly! Savannah echoed herself with enthusiasm this time. Ignoring her sister's stunted expression, Savannah leaped into and closed the small gap between the two. It was clear that her sister went to a gym down in St. George, as Shelly had little to no hope for oxygen when her sister's two lean arms enveloped her. A bead pierced Shelly's eye as Savannah moved away and her hair whipped into Shelly's face. Once released, Shelly responded with a wheezy laugh. Ouch. She rubbed her eye. Wow, I almost died. At age 23, I almost died. Stop the drama, Savannah half giggled. You did not almost die. I'm just excited to see you. Shelly smiled, realizing that, oddly, despite all the anxiety, she felt the same. It's pretty good to be together again, huh? I think so. Also, it's getting way too boring in St. George. I needed another trip. Too many of the same old faces, the same old stuff to do. Like visiting international parks? Going to parties? Yeah, Savannah said gravely. Shelly laughed and dragged her sister further in, shutting the door behind her. Well, she paused. She never had guests aside from Amber and Lucas, but they were practically family. How should she proceed now that she had actual family visiting? Want to give me a tour? Savannah asked, glancing around like a kid about to go to recess. Yes, that's a great idea, Shelly responded, grateful for the direction and conduct. Savannah started to pick up her pink bag, and Shelly interrupted with haste. You can leave it there. We plan on putting an air mattress in the living room for you, since we only have one bedroom. We'll do that later tonight. Oh, Savannah replied. She regathered her excitement. So, the tour? Right. Shelly prompted a 360-degree turn in the living room, and then they traveled through the entryway to the kitchen, past the bathroom, and into the bedroom. Despite no signal for a turn, Savannah spun around again. The return to the living room became the official end of the tour, and Savannah asked Shelly what good brunch places were located in Provo, following her question with a list of the ones she'd already eaten at or heard about. A list larger than Shelly thought Google could provide. Surprisingly, Shelly knew one place that would be new to her sister. Miss Mabel B's, Shelly suggested. It's probably a 10-minute drive from here. What? Isn't that like a cake place? No? I'll look it up. While Savannah did this, Shelly's stomach filled the empty noise in the conversation. She stepped away, scratched her head, and then cleaned out her nail beds. Her sister didn't seem like she had heard anything. A text message had snatched Savannah's attention, which led her to viewing the most recent updates on her social media. After this, she used her phone for what she said she would do. She looked up Miss Mabel B's. I knew it. They totally serve cake, Savannah said. Oh, they also have regular food too. And, Savannah lifted her eyes, endless waffles. Oh, Shelly said, this time with despondency. Savannah strung on a smile a little too tightly. So, right, well, let's go. Despite the endless cinnamon waffles on Savannah's plate and the endless plain waffle on Shelly's, neither person touched their fork. Sometimes their eyes met each other at the same time, and they expressed a friendly smile. Other times they mutually examined the cafe walls. A few watercolor paintings held Shelly's attention. A cat dressed like England's 19th century noble class, a bike against a lamppost in the rain, and a colorful mug with either a coffee or, considering most Utah habits, hot chocolate ring stain underneath it. No people. Shelly's phone lit up. At brunch? John. That meant John had finished playing basketball with Lucas. He had thought the Savannah would arrive late, but he must have made the connection when he came home to an abandoned apartment. Yep, Shelly sent back. Have fun. John sent a celebration gift, and Jelly smiled. Who are you texting? Anything fun? Savannah moved so that she had a better angle over the stack of waffles. Totally only share if you want to. Sorry, habit. It's John, Shelly said. Savannah sank back down to the waffles. How's the marriage going? Good. John's great. That's good. I remember him being nice at the reception, Mr. Boy Next Door. Savannah's words bounced with light enthusiasm as she waved a piece of waffle in the air. High school cheerleading had helped her in physical and emotional flexibility. She could command cheer onto her face and into her voice whenever needed. Shelly agreed about John's disposition and pierced her top waffle. A snobby snort sounded. Confused, Shelly stopped. Savannah sneered at her. What? Shelly said. Are you seriously going to eat your waffles like that? Savannah said, mouth full. The cool color beads in her hair jangled as she tilted her head to the side. What? Yeah, why not? Savannah snorted again. Nothing. You do you. Without further comment, Savannah picked up her fork, cut out another whopping waffle piece, and filled half her mouth with it. Wait, what's wrong with my waffle? Shelly insisted. Rendered inaudible, Savannah shrugged. She managed a hefty swallow, covered her mouth to avoid any nasty overflow, and spoke while chewing. You didn't put anything on them. Ever heard of butter? Syrup? Both sounded delicious to Shelly. No, it's not for me. Besides, you didn't put anything on yours. Savannah coughed. Yeah, but Shelly, I grew up with you. You soak your waffles in syrup, and the waffles I ordered came with cinnamon and chocolate syrup, and I'm not insane enough to add more sugar on top of that. The logic made sense. With defiance, Shelly cut into her syrup-free, butter-free, hopefully sugar-free, fat-free waffle. She couldn't bother herself to argue with Savannah, so she filled her mouth with the plain waffle instead, the taste unsatisfying. It reminded Shelly of her other meals. Out of trained habit, she continued to chew the undesirable waffle enclosed in her mouth. Rolling, Savannah's eyes left Shelly and came back to her own breakfast, soon forgetting to taunt as she became deeply immersed in her food. Both felt full before finishing the food on their plates, and an uncomfortable thought came, drifting in like an unwanted breeze from a door left cracked open. So, Shelly said. Right, Savannah responded. We should talk about Mom. Yeah. Have you told her that you want to stop talking to her? What? No, I'm not sure I'm going to do that. I said that I need to stop the way we talk. I never feel good after talking to her. Savannah rolled her eyes. Right. So what are you going to do? I don't know, Savannah. That's why I need your help. Well, I stopped talking to Mom and that's been great for me. Shelly folded her arms, irritated. Savannah redirected herself, saying, For the most part, but my therapist thinks there's some unresolved contention. Therapist? She's pretty great. But tell me about the calls. What's been happening? Why are you even thinking about this? You and Mom have a great relationship. You're like best friends. Not that you had it perfect, but she treated you a lot differently than she treated me. Shelly looked at a syrup stain on the table. Well, yeah. I love Mom, and we've definitely had good times. It's just that sometimes she makes things a little more difficult. Huh, you're telling me. She tries, Savannah. I know she tries. She just doesn't listen to me that often. For a second, Shelly tried to remember a time when her mom had listened to her. Nothing came to mind. She'd think of something later. And she wants to tell me what to do, and she thinks she knows what I should do, and I'm always making her upset if I do something wrong, but sometimes I'm not sure if I actually did anything wrong. I'm sure I'm just being dramatic. Shelly thought about her sister briefly. I don't know. Maybe I'm overreacting. You're not. And you're not being dramatic either. Mom's controlling and unwilling to understand. Shelly wished she didn't believe that. A few seconds passed, and she grabbed a napkin, pushing it against the stain. What should I do? You could tell Mom how you're feeling, or we could go on a trip. Shelly stopped moving the napkin. A trip? A trip! Savannah's eyes glistened the way they always did when an exciting distractor appeared. We can go to California, or Mexico, or the Cabanas. With each place, Savannah's face brightened and Shelly's mouth dropped. Everyone in the family knew Savannah traveled around like an explorer from the 16th century, except instead of wandering around new lands, she wandered into new parties. At one point, Mrs. Lancaster accused her of becoming a gypsy. The ignorance and the offense from that statement became the first large step in creating their distance. The more trips Savannah took, the more accustomed both her and her family became to them. Now Savannah's routine was to have no routine, no attachments. Shelly couldn't relate. Savannah, I've never been outside of the country. Then now's the time to go. I don't have a passport? Savannah mumbled something about inconveniences. I can't just leave. Shelly returned to trying to wipe the stain off the table. Why not? There were many reasons why. Shelly just couldn't think of them. Every excuse evaporated like a water droplet splashing onto hot concrete. John would be absolutely fine, as he always was, and he might benefit from the personal time, and if he needed company, he had Lucas. Classes. Most of her classes were hybrid, and her professors were more than understanding, and if she needed to paint something, well, she was avoiding that anyway. The dog. She didn't own a dog. One thing made the trip impossible. Money. Savannah, John and I can't afford to go out on dates, let alone send me on some party girl dream vacation. Okay, well, believe it or not, little sis, but I think I got the money thing covered. What? I have some miles saved up from all my party girl events. You wouldn't have to worry about it. So money wouldn't stop her. Shelly searched, but she couldn't find any lies hiding behind Savannah's eyes. Be like Virginia, Shelly thought. Okay, Savannah squealed. Maybe I'll go, but I want to figure out what to do about this thing with Mom. Savannah turned her head to the side, watching the people outside walking to other boutiques and cafes. Let's go to New York. A force pulled Shelly's insides down and up. New York. New York, New York, Savannah said. Like I said, my therapist suggested trying to find healing, connection, try to resolve things instead of ignoring them. If we're going to do this, I don't think a phone call will cut it. We need to go full out. Crumpling up the napkin, Shelly dropped it and scratched the back of her neck. I haven't seen her in a while. It would make her happy. It'd be easier to figure things out in person. Okay, let's do it. A few wispy laughs came out of Savannah as her surprise manifested. We're gonna go see Mom. We're gonna make this work. We're going to go to the city, Savannah gasped. And I can get into those clubs now. Shelly put her hands up to calm herself and her sister down. But the priority is talking to Mom, and I need to work on some school stuff still, and I'll have online classes to attend, and the trip can't be too long. I'll need to get back home for school and John. While she kept a proper public posture, Savannah's eyebrows did a quick dance. Deal. Wow. So when should we go? Want to leave today? The pulled shades dimmed the bedroom lighting, which increased the uneasiness John felt about the situation. The first few folded clothes captured his attention. Shelly did not make impulsive decisions, and after nearly 2 years of marriage, John had started to rely on that. With Shelly, nothing surprised him. Not usually. So, you're going to California then, John said. Packing meticulously as she moved back and forth from the closet to the open duffel bag, she replied, Well, no. Like I said, Savannah first suggested California, and she probably knew that was crazy to ask me, although she probably would have gone if I had said yes. Anyway, I think she was setting me up. To get you to visit your dad in Nebraska and spend time with the saner parent? John faked a smile. John, come on. You know that's not it. Well, it's the better option. I was hoping that was it. No, we want to go to New York. I'll stay if you want me to, but I know you have things locked down at school, and you have Lucas. Those reasons for leaving were sound, if his concerns about her leaving had anything to do with him. Still, he waited before protesting aloud. Shelly rolled up a pair of pants and put them in the duffel bag. I need to sort things out with my mom. Don't worry, though. My mom will be happy to see Savannah and me, and we'll spend time together, and I think when we talk, my mom will finally understand. Things with her will finally start getting better, and maybe my family life won't be so crazy. I just need to say something and make it clear and kind. The wood pressed deep into John's palms as he grabbed the dresser. Even though his body stayed balanced, Shelly's logic didn't click in his mind, and both his feelings and thoughts began to whirl around. Tickets to New York City would be expensive. Her sister was all right, but not reliable. Shelly would spend all her time with her mom, whom even the thought or mention of caused Shelly anxiety. John, are you okay? Shelly moved in close behind him and gave a loose hug. No, Shelly, I'm upset. This is too much. We can't afford that. I know. Shelly moved back to her luggage and clothes. But we're not paying for it. Savannah has the miles to fly us there. And what about on the way back? She's talking to our dad on the phone right now. He's always had our backs. I'm sure he'd be willing to give us some extra cash for the flights back. John's mind stilled and he turned around. Why does Savannah want to do this? She hates your mom. I don't know. She's acting like her normal self, but she does seem different. Did you know she has a therapist now? Shelly stacked a few shirts on top of each other. I think she's as upset as I am. I think she wants things to change too. Patting the contents in her duffel bag, Shelly used her fingers to count the items packed. She moved to the dresser for a few more things. While she searched through the dresser, she continued talking. Savannah hasn't visited New York since she graduated from high school. She's been angry, but maybe she's ready to move on now. It's no joy not having a mom in your life. This threw John's thoughts into flips again. He did not understand how either of them would want a relationship with Mrs. Lancaster, but he had to accept it. For some reason, his wife and her sister were going to see the woman who lambasted them both. Have you thought about what you're going to say? He said. She hasn't listened to you in the past. I don't think I've been clear enough. I mean, I've tried to tell her when stuff upsets me, but it's always in the moment. We've never sat down and just talked about things. I'll figure out the specifics beforehand. You should set boundaries with her. Shelly looked up from her open bag. I've watched a lot of videos about it. John had watched a lot of videos about it since getting a mother-in-law. I can send one to you. I looked into this a while ago, just to find some answers. I don't like watching you get hurt. Thanks. Shelly reached past him for some bras. I think that will help. Set some boundaries. Find a way that my mom and I can both be happy. I'll send you the video. Anything to help lessen the pain. As John watched his wife pack, he thought about Shelly and Savannah confronting Mrs. Lancaster. It would end badly. He knew this. But at least it would end. Shelly could move forward. Maybe he could help her. Maybe things would get better. Savannah stepped halfway past the bedroom door's crack and waved her phone in the air. Their dad had agreed to assist with the trip's finances. He wants us to build a bridge over our family disputes and have a relationship with Mom, Savannah said. And he said he'd give us the world if he could, and he understands Mom can be a pain, blah, blah, blah. Well, Shelly sucked in the surrounding air. Let's go blow a bunch of money then. Savannah laughed and pushed her fist into the air. Woo! I'll look up flights. After his sister-in-law left the room, John approached Shelly at the edge of their tiny bed. With another step in their plan completed, John began to fret over the decision once again. If something went wrong, and with their mother something would go wrong, John would be in a state on the other side of the country, only available via phone call. John used one hand to grab Shelly's and the other cupped around her waist. Shelly, what about school? What about your art? I'm sure I can practice in New York. My professors are willing to work with me. At least the ones that have responded to my emails are. And our anniversary? I'll be back in time for that. It's still 3 weeks away. He brought his hand down and clasped both of hers. His thumb rubbed in between her knuckles. I don't think it's a good idea. Remember why we stopped visiting? That was meant to be temporary. She might not be as bad this time around. Talking to her might help. I don't know if your mom will change. I mean, I believe people can change, but with how critical she is of you, something seems off. Then they were there. Shelly's eyes mimicked green rolling hills. It became all he could see. I have to go, she said. My mom doesn't have anyone besides us. I don't know how else to explain it, except that it's my mom. I have to try. Kissing Shelly's forehead, John kept his lips close to her skin. As he spoke, his breath brushed upon a few of her loose hairs. Just keep in touch with me, okay? Call me. Every day if you can. I love you. They hugged, almost in anticipation of the coming goodbye. Okay, Shelly said. I love you too. John couldn't change her decision. Like the first snow of an oncoming blizzard, Shelly's mind had set. When the storm ended, John would shovel the beaten snow, wait for the ice to melt, and clear the ground for Shelly to walk on. End of chapter. Boop, boop, boop. Yay! Thanks for reading along, listening along. We are going places. Things are gonna be happening soon in this book, and I'm so excited to read the rest to you the rest of this week. Again, subscribe if you want to see what happens next, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Bye!